What's up, everybody? We are back with another episode of Podcastin with Colossal. I'm your co-host, Ariel Marie, aka Baby Girl. And here's your host, Garrick Hilderbrand Sr.
Yo, what up, everybody? This your boy Garrick, the CEO of Colossal Steppin Entertainment, and also your host here with Podcastin with Colossal, with my co-host Ariel Marie, aka Baby Girl.
Hi.
Well, we had a show that we were gonna do this evening, but my brother Jarrell David got sick.
Get well soon.
So we're praying for him. My son decided he wanted to go hang out with his friends, and my daughter said she's gonna stay at home, get some sleep. So I can't be mad at that, man, because they're always on the go. So got to kind of give them a break. So we're actually gonna go ahead and try to hit this thing head on tonight. We want to first give a shout out to Broadview ParkDistrict, the village of Broadview, Mayor Katrina Thompson, creative by art. My brother Danny Drummond, who's our sponsor, VFW Post 2801 in Villa Park, Illinois, who's also our supporter. Man, and we're grateful to be. Also, we got to give a great big shout out to Intellectual Radios. Our tech on tonight is Earl Winfrey. So man, we thank him for being with us on tonight. But we're gonna try to hit this thing head on, man. Coping with mental health without losing yourself as a family. Coping with mental health without losing yourself as a family. So we were gonna do the family edition, but like I said, we're gonna know. So we're gonna try to attack this thing with just us, and we're gonna see where this thing goes. So we've been dealing with mental health for the last couple of segments, and one thing that we've learned is that mental health is real.
Yes.
And regardless of how you look at it, everybody battles with some semblance of mental health in their lifetime. You can't act like you're unbeatable, like you're unstoppable. If you deal with some sort of anxiety, that's mental health. If you deal with depression, that's mental health. If you're dealing with sadness, that's mental health. Like I said, you may be going through something on the job where you have anger issues. That's mental health. So you have to stop and really look at it. And also, if you're dealing with some form of toxicity in your life, that's mental health.
Yes.
So you have to really look at where life is taking you, because you gotta know who you surround yourself with. So if you want to be part of this conversation tonight, you can give us a call at 708-223-8953. Again, that's 708-223-8953 if you want to be part of this conversation about mental health, because we want everybody to be able to share how they feel about it, regardless of who you are, where you stand. I know with me, I deal with bouts of depression every now and again. No, really, because when you lose somebody in your life and you deal with that heartbreak, and you have to come face to face with the reality that this thing is real. Sometimes you wish it was just a bad dream, that this bad dream would just end. Or you're looking at it as a bad joke, and you wish that somebody would just wake you up and say, man, no, that we got you, April Fools, something. Is like, man, that but at the end of the day, man, it's like, when you go to the cemetery and you see that plot, you see that that the reality is real. And you got to understand is that now you have to really dig deep down inside and ask yourself, where do I go from here? How do I stop this from happening? How do I stop this snowball effect, so to speak? Because we're going through this as a family. Whereas that um, my daughter, she's missing her mom, and and you know she's trying to be strong for me, because she's worried about how I'm doing. My son, he's no he deals with grieving his way, whereas that he doesn't really deal with it. It's like he jokes around, and that's his coping mechanism. Whereas that he's just he's the jokester. He wants to make sure that everybody else is good. And Ariel Marie, she's no, like I said, she has her moments as well. Was that because her and I were there with my wife, basically took her last breath. Um, and we have to kind of deal with this whole mental health thing, because your sleeping patterns are broken,
Mm-hmm.
your eating habits are broken, um, your thought processes are different, your eating habits are different, everything that you do, and it's all, and everything that you deal with is mental. You know what I'm saying? It's mental. It's not so much physical, it's mental. Because all you can see is that you're going through this time of heartbreak. And when you're dealing with heartbreak takes you through a different season. And I don't know what season that is, but I guess this season that we live in is that no, it gives you a new reality. It makes you accept um, different things, and what people say a little different. Um, I've never really allowed what people say to really affect me, but lately, I know people are doing the best they can to try to you know try to encourage me, during this season. And this season of bereavement hasn't ended. And I don't know who says that when you go through this, that you have to have a time frame on your grieving.
Reed
You
doesn't
know
have
you
a
know
timeline.
you have to go through a timeline on your bereavement. But we understand that life does move on, but at the same time, you got to start really start to look at, what do I do differently, what do I say differently, um what what you accept from people is something totally different. And reason why I say it's something totally different with now how you accept things from people, because people have a way of trying to use now biblical cliches to try to encourage you. And I guess I understand. Yeah, I'm a preacher. Yes, I'm a preacher. Yeah, I know the Bible. I know what the Lord says. But at the end of the day, when all of that's said and done, um I still have to kind of register in my mind as to how do I attack this. Um, how when is a good time to cry? When is a good time to to not cry? When is a good time to to really be empathetic toward other people who are going through what they're going through? And because you know, death teaches you something different. Death teaches you that you must boom that life does go on after death. And even when when death hits you, it's like, man, it hits you like a ton of bricks. And it's like in everybody's relationships with whoever passed away, it's something totally different. And you cannot compare your grief to my grief,
All right.
because you're trying to compare. No, that's just like you're trying to compare apples to oranges, and you can't do that because they both have a different taste. um you cannot uh compare the weight of what you're dealing with the weight of what I'm dealing with. um my wife was the motivation behind our family. So our family, that no that motivation structure has been broken.
The glue is gone.
That no, I mean, it's like, and it's like when we're at home together as a family, um, that's utter quietness.
Mm-hmm.
That no, because that didn't used to exist. They used to be laughing and joking and and people just enjoying each other's presence. Now it's like, it's just utter silence where that everybody's just coexisting in the house.
Oh,
And that gets kind of uncomfortable because as a family, we're trying to get through this as a family, but no, but a lot of times we don't want to talk about what we're going through. We don't want to talk about how we're really feeling. And sometimes we get into that point of selfishness, whereas that we don't care to share what we're going through, and whether somebody else is going through. And sometimes people don't really care about what you're going through, because then they want to kind of other people want to try to make things about them. And it's not so much in the house. You got other people who are outside sources that want to try to make your grief about them. And your grief is never about the other person. I understand that everybody wants some attention, but at the same time, if you want some attention, then maybe you need to go play.
mm,
I'm not gonna say go play in traffic. I ain't gonna say that. I ain't gonna be mean. I ain't gonna be mean. I promise I ain't gonna be mean. Yeah, but sometimes you need some people need to find somebody else to kind of give get the attention, give your attention to, because at that point in time people are not really thinking about really focusing on what on your need for attention. um as I go through this season of bereavement, I've learned that people have a tendency to say some things that really kind of disturb you or rub you the wrong way. And I never used to be that way, but it's like now it's like I don't have patience for nonsense. And when you see pop no and you see it coming a mile away, I just don't have patience for nonsense. Like I know people mean well. I understand that they're trying to make you laugh, they're trying to make you joke. They want to try to get some kind of emotion out of you, but sometimes they go about it the wrong way. They really go about it all the wrong way. They can't no they don't understand how you're really feeling. And mental health is something that we all have to deal with. Ariel Marie, won't you won't you talk to the people?
okay. Well, like you said, like, our season of bereavement has been a journey of sadness, loss, confusion, to the point that my dad is right that we are just coexisting in the house because my mother was just a lively person. She was the glue into the family. She pushed us when we didn't want to push ourselves. She believed when we didn't believe in ourselves. And now that that is gone, it's like now we're to the point that like we have to move on. But how do we move on without her? How and now my siblings are about to get ready to go to college, and that's a new journey my father will have to take on. And it's hard to see him and my siblings go through it. Yes, I lost a mother of my own biological mother 7 years ago, but this loss that I see them go through is way deeper than the loss I suffered. It's a deep wound that I don't think will ever heal. If I said time heals the wound, it does not. It just makes it easier to cope. But every holiday, especially this past holiday of Mother's Day, was the hardest for my family right now. That, instead of giving her cards and flowers like we did last year for her, we had to go see her in the ground and visit her, talk to her that way. And it's like it's been a big change in the past year. Like last year, she was, she suffered so much last year that she fought and survived to the point of, you know, that she conquered, but now it's like God took her home, and it's now like our our home, our mental health, our emotions are rocked. I see my sister go through her depression so hard. It breaks my heart to see my sister missing her mother. And I'm like, yes, I was close to mine, but see, her outlet was her best friend, and seeing my sister lose her everything is just like, and that's something a child should never have to go through. My brother, he has his emotional times. I've seen him cry a few times with me and my sister, just us alone. But like my father says, he does cope by laughing or just, he wants to hang with his friends because, let me tell you something. Being at home now it's like it feels like a tomb. Like whatever was there is just nothing. It's just like just a imprinted memory of what was. So it's like, his escape is basically like, going out with friends or, being incorporating sports, stuff like that, because that's his mechanism of coping because he feels because it's hard for him to be home without his mother being there. Because I'm used to them coming home from school and her mom say, "Hey y'all," and she be in the kitchen cooking it up and everything else. That's gone. Seeing my father had to go through this as a widower, and that's 20 years, y'all. And I like I say that people say I can imagine. Let me tell you something. I can't imagine what you go through. 20 years. That's a lot. That's 2 lifetimes of sharing ups, downs, trials, tribulations, you know. And it's like, how do you cope and heal from that? Like it's like another part. His whole better half is gone. But I commend him for staying so strong. Yes, I hear him at times when he's home alone. When I'm home with him or in the middle of the night, he cries so hard for her because he's missing her. And sometimes I do cry because let me tell you, I got a bit of PTSD from her death. I'm gonna admit it. I have PTSD because I see her face the day she passed away. I see her face, knowing that we did everything we could, and then seeing her next to me take her last breath, and she wouldn't come back. That's a vision I'll never get out of my head. I still wake up at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning some days because I'm used to her. Sometimes, my dad used to would work till 2 o'clock in the morning. She'll stay up and wait for him to come home, and I would too, just make sure he gets in safe. So like basically our sleep pattern became hers. Her schedule became ours. And it's still hard, waking up at those time of hours and knowing that she's not there anymore. Also, comes to dealing with toxicity. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I'm dealing with it myself. My mental health is to the point that I become the very thing that I despise. I despise toxicity, but I haven't healed or coped with any of my trauma from the past. Am I slowly learning from it? Yes, but I can. But if you don't unlearn anything, you become the toxicity that you are trying to run from. I mean, I'm not perfect. I'm not. Do I have my days that I want to just cry and you know, and I just lash out at people for no reason because I get in my head because when it comes to mental health, y'all, the mind is the biggest trap of all. when you overthink, especially when you're all alone, all and with nobody to come to run to, you start thinking things that that may be true or may not be true. But some things when they're not true, it's best not to dwell on them for too long because if you do, you start believing it, and then when you start believing things, it starts making you into a person that you don't want to be, and then it starts affecting the people around you. That's
Man, so thank you, Ariel Marie, for that. Again, mental health is something that that all of us have to deal with, um, regardless of where you come from, what walk of life you come from, how old you are. Um, Mental health, has a way of sneaking up on you. Um, it may be depression, it may be anxiety, it may be a sickness that you're going through and the ailments, and it has a way of messing with your mentality. And baby girl was saying that there are times in the middle of the night where that that I have nothing but time to really sit around and think about um, what happened, um, how to get past her death, and try to make this thing live according to how she would want it to live. And this has been the hardest walk that I ever had to encounter. Um, Being at home, um, I find myself being at home a lot alone, and all I have is time to look at her pictures, to think about some of her favorite foods and some of her favorite songs, um, and those times, those quiet times, are the most dreadful times, because now my daughter, she's no, she tries to leave the house as much as she can because she doesn't want to really be there either. Because it's like she finds herself missing her mom. My son, he's gone a whole lot. It's like, and I'm not gonna leave him. I'm not gonna trap him into that into the house and say, man, no, you can't go. Um, because I know he's using that as a as a coping mechanism, as hanging out with his friends and giving them something to focus on. Um, Trying to make Colossal uh, a living movement, because that's something that that came from Alice. Um, she was the driving force behind Colossal. Um, Not just Colossal Steppin Entertainment, but also even Colossal Events Planning, which was also her baby, and trying to keep that moving. And I find myself having to really look at it and saying, man, no, what do I do now? How do I move forward? How do I make this thing live? And there are days when I just don't want to do anything. I'm not gonna lie. I just don't want to do anything. It's like, man, I don't want nothing to do with the business. I don't want anything to do with my classes. I mean, I'm right now. I'm even contemplating stop teaching for a while. That's where I am right now. It's like, because my thing is that um, my mindset is not like it used to be. So now I'm praying and contemplating about continuing to teach Chicago Style Stepping classes, because I don't know right now. I'm not feeling people are not really showing interest in trying to learn anymore, and it's like, and I get people have have lives, and that's fine. You know what I'm saying? That's fine, but at the same time, you know, when I start losing my drive to do something, um, I have to take a hard step back and look at things and from what it really is, and make a decision as to, okay, which way am I going to go. So as me and Ariel were talking earlier, and I told her that I'm basically ready to to step back from teaching.
And I
um,
told you, I was like, I told him like, is it because you feel lost? Because when he taught his classes, Alice was the motivation behind him on that too. So I feel that that's also part of where he is in his mind and heart right now, because the person that pushed him to do the classes and did the classes with him and talked with him is no longer by his side. But yeah, but I totally understand. People are not interested in and I told him, we should pray on it and sleep on it and really think if that's what you want to do, and if that's where God leads you, then do it, and then it's best.
yeah. So right now, that's that's where I am right now. So y'all pray for your brother and pray for your brother. That God will lead me to a solid decision as to which way I want to go. Because like I said, I have so much time on my hands just around thinking about which way I want to go. Colossal would no Colossal. I'm going to continue to push Colossal because that's what her and I built together, and I'm going to continue to to build on Colossal. Yeah, people will follow along the wayside. I've learned to expect to expect that. People are always going to fall along the wayside. People are not always going to be supportive. People are not always going to be right there with you along the journey. And I'm learning that you can't take everybody with you to where you're going.
That's true.
Um, so I'm to the point now where is that I have to make a solid decision as to which way do I go, because now I have to look at making college road trips for my kids because they're choosing which college they want to go to. Um, and again, those were plans that were made, among the family before my wife passed away. But now, again, that driving factor, no, it's no longer here. So now we have to kind of push forward and say, okay, which way? No, and this is how we approach it. And it's it's hurtful. And the reason why I say it's hurtful because my kids are worried about me. My kids are worried about what's on daddy's mind. My kids are worried about where is this going to take daddy to, and it's like, and daddy's alone a lot now. So where is he okay? And my daughter, even when she's out, she always asks me, are you okay? Do you need anything? And um and it's kind of funny that that now my daughter's she's about to no, she's about to go to a job interview. Um and I'm to the point where is that man, like, like, wow, where did life go? Where did life go? Where no, where did all this where did everything turn? And um how do I approach it as a father? Being continue to be supportive, but at the same time having a broken heart at the same time. Um because and my broken heart is not just because my wife died, but because I watched my kids hurt, and my kids hurt is different now. It's like, um my daughter, she carries a bear with her, and the bear that she carries is the bear that she placed upon my wife's chest the night she passed. And she hasn't been apart from that bear since. And when I started looking at that, I said, man, and I didn't really pay attention to it, and until I saw my daughter's Instagram stating why she carried that bear, and because I never asked her why she carried it. My daughter carries that bear because she placed it up, no, that very bear up on my wife's chest until she took her last breath. And once she gave my wife the okay for her to leave, and my daughter took the bear off her chest, and that no, and she has not been away from that bear ever since. It makes you really look at life differently. because that bear embodies the spirit of my wife and my daughter. And I never really looked at it that way, but that bear embodies the spirit of my wife who passed away. And that's the way my daughter feels close to her mom, who was her best friend, who was her twin, who she helped take care of all of these years. And you just don't know which way your mind is going to go. So like I said, we're coping with this as a family, but we're coping with it differently. Like Ariel Marie said, she lost her mom some years back. No, like I said, she went through lupus, and she went through, she was on life support, and it's like, she went through all kind of different changes, until, but she lost her life in that battle at a young age.
44.
No, she was 44 years of age when she lost her life, and then my wife turns around and she loses her life at the age of 48. And they both were on life support, and you sit there and you kind of sit back and you look and you start listening to what goes on around you, and you start looking at people and you see people differently. People's eyes you look at differently. Their words you hear differently. And sometimes what people say can kind of offend you, because sometimes people don't really know what they're saying, and what they're saying has power, but sometimes it has power to push you, or sometimes it can no or it can no or it can actually have power to provoke you. And sometimes it's like, I don't want people to walk on eggshells around me, because they feel like, well, will he snap if I say something, such and such. It's not about that. Sometimes it's like,
There's a time and a place for
I'm not. It's
things.
like I have to sit there and look at the person's motives, and also look at the person's heart, who's saying who's not delivering the word. Because when those words come out, your tongue has power.
That's true.
Your tongue has power. Your tongue can actually kill a person if you allow it to. And you sit around looking like, man, like, like, people don't really understand that, because it used to be said, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words
Words
have
will
never
never
hurt
hurt
me.
me.
But that's a lie.
Lie. That's a big lie.
That's a lie.
Because it messes with your self esteem to the point that you start believing what they saying, and sometimes that could lead to suicidal thoughts. That's and like the tongue is what you say in your mouth is actually what you mean, especially when you're angry. You gonna a lot of things you be wanting to say, but when you angry, you say because it's what you've been feeling. So basically, you're lashing out everything that's been building up about the person or situation.
Yeah, Lasandra, you're right. No, the words do hurt. And I don't know. So my thing is that it's like I get so sick and tired of people saying, well, but because I'm the kind of person where that I don't live for what people think. You know, that's me. I don't care for I don't live for
and
what people think.
and I'm the exact opposite.
You
I
know,
I care about what people think of me because I used to be bullied, so, and I take things to heart because I try to see the good of everybody, but
I said, but I no again, I was the type of person where I didn't care what people thought, what people said. Um, but now I'm starting, like, since my wife passed away, I guess I'm starting to become more of a listener. Um, and I didn't as like I used to listen before, but I really listen now, and I started really watching the person's actions, because when they say actions speak louder than words, I watch a person's actions now. It's like, and the people, somebody that says no, says they love you and they support you, prove it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's one thing to say that you love me and that you support me, but my thing is that if you support me and you never there,
mm,
what level of support is that? Because my thing is, you can support by you can support by just being there, emotionally. You can be there spiritually. You can be there financially. No, because it's like, man, my thing, especially, no, if you can't be there physically, you have to figure out which form you're going to actually really be there for a person. And then people say, well, you're overreacting. No, I'm not overreacting to anything, because my thing is that now I'm listening to your words and I'm watching your actions. And now my eyes are open on a whole nother level. And the death of my wife has made my eyes open to people in a way I've never saw. And I guess that's what she was always trying to get me to do in the first place before she passed away, because because she always told me that, you need to open your eyes, you need to open your ears, you really need to know, to hear what people are saying, you need to see what people are saying. And I'm like, how do you go about seeing what people are saying? But now I know, now I see what people are saying, and now I'm like, and their words don't match up to their actions. And you get to the point where it's that you're starting to see people for who they really are. So my coping mechanism now is really watching and observing. Uh, Watching and observing is my coping mechanism. That's how I cope with life now. Now I watch and I listen to everything. I listen to words and I also weigh their words against their actions. Um, you cannot continue to allow a person who says they're speaking life into into your existence, who are actually speaking death into your walk.
Ooh, say it again. Say it for loud, Peter in the back.
So you cannot allow people who say they're speaking life into your existence and they're speaking death into your walk. How do they speak life into your existence? Well, they say they're rooting for you. They say they want to see you make it. But at the same time, they're not doing anything to help that walk that you're actually taking come to existence. They're not out saying promoting you. It's like that, because they don't want to see, they really don't want to see you make it. But they want to say, but their words say it, but their actions don't. Because they really don't support what you're doing, and they want you to believe that they do. And but again, you cannot allow a person's words, you can't allow them to speak life into your existence and they're speaking death into your walk. Every day you're walking a different walk. Why do you say that, Garrick? Um, every day you wake up
Mm-hmm.
and there's a decision that you have to make. Am I going to move forward or am I going to stay put? Am I going to make this thing happen or am I going to let this thing die? And every day you have to find a new motivation to kind of move forward. And yeah, we may meet people along the way who have made it in the business. But the people that know that you have seen make it in the business sometimes are the people that are speaking death into your existence, because they're intimidated by your walk and they're intimidated by your actions and they're intimidated by by your enthusiasm, but because they see something great about to happen. And if greatness is happening for you, which means that that they're going to feel threatened. But my thing is that we should be all in this thing together.
All right.
But again, mental health, we become paranoid. We become paranoid of the wrong people. We become so paranoid about what a person says, what a person does, how they're going to go about doing it. Um, how you know how you look at life. People are watching you, and some people don't want to see you make it. They want to see you fail. But one thing I've learned, Sister Lasanda, is that failure is success turned upside down.
Ooh.
Um, because I know you know this. You've been in business over for a while, Sister Lasanda. I know you've been in business for a while, so I can share this with you. Um, Failure is success turned upside down, because I know all of us had to fail at something. All of us had to fail, especially in business, whatever you do, everybody has to fail at something. Um, but at the end of the day, you have to find a new motivation to kind of move forward. Um, when you're at that moment of loneliness, you have to find a moment of
Mm.
life. How do I move forward? At that point of heartbreak, you have to figure out, man, what do I do now? And how do I make it past this heartbreak? Then no, I had to find myself having to pray, um, and asking God to mend this broken heart, regulate my thoughts. Because there's been plenty of times where I woke up in the morning and I didn't want to do a thing, but just let it go. I didn't want to do ministry anymore. I didn't want to teach classes. I didn't want to do business. I didn't want to do anything because I felt like it wasn't worth it anymore. Because my best friend, my life partner, my business partner isn't there. And but the thing is that God had to show me that uh, He didn't bless me to come this far just to stop now. But sometimes you have to know when to hold them, and you have to know when to fold them. You got to know when to hold them, and you have to know when to fold them. So yeah, right now I'm at a crossroads in my walk, and now and in my my life journey. Whereas that now I have to make a decision: do I want to continue to keep teaching, or do I want to just let it go altogether, or do I just want to take a break from it? This is where I am right now, and I'm in constant prayer. I'm in constant prayer. Um, but you have to keep um, moving. You're right, Sister Lasanda. You have to continue to keep God at the forefront of your life, because God is the author and finisher of our faith.
Amen.
God is the author and the finisher of our faith. God is the motivation behind everything that we do. But at the same time, um, you know, all of us people who are saved, let me say this, all of us people who are saved, um, we have a moment of weakness. We have a moment where we have to learn that we're human.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, it's good, to have that biblical background, that ways that you're saved, sanctified, filled, and sealed with the precious gift of the Holy Ghost. But at that same time, you cannot become so holy that earthly good to anybody. I'm gonna say that again. You cannot become so saved that you're no earthly good to anybody, because you know people are going through. I don't care who you are. People are going through, and I hear people. No, you say how you doing. They say I'm saved, sanctified, filled, sealed, the best. No, blessed gift of the Holy Ghost. And they be like, "Oh, that's good and fine, but how you really doing?" I didn't ask you, if you were blessed and highly favored. I get that you're blessed and highly favored because you're still above ground. Because I always say any day above ground is a great day. But
Yeah.
at the same time, you got to start looking. Look at people. Look at life going on around you. Watch people's hands, watch people's eyes, and see what you see. Because sometimes we miss those little subtle things that know about people that we kind of overlook. People may be shaking your hand with their right and stab you in the back with their left.
True.
And it's just figuratively speaking. It's not literal, it's figuratively. And you can't sit there and and that's why I keep saying, you know, it's okay not to be okay. It's okay not to be okay. And people have to come to the realization that just because you're saved doesn't mean that you don't have problems. Mental health is a silent killer.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that again. Mental health is a silent killer. Because when you become depressed into to the stage where that you don't feel that your existence should be anymore, that's a silent killer, because that will push you over the edge.
Yeah.
And somebody else's negativity can push you over the edge. Sometimes I have that Grandmaster Flash in the Furious 5 mode, where don't push me because I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head. I have those moments because people will push you to a point where you will lose your mind.
Swear.
Regardless of who you try to talk to, how you try to encourage them, you have people around you that will sit there and speak death into your life and death into your business, death into your very existence, and death into your aura. And it's like, and I don't care how much you pray, I don't care how much Bible you read. You're human. You're human. You have human emotions. You have human actions. You have human reactions.
All right.
And we can't get to the point where that we cannot acknowledge who we really are, how we really are, and that no, and we're no when we're human, we know we tend to to act react on certain things, but it's how you react in all things. The Bible says, um, whatever state I'm in, I've learned to be content. That's where I am now. Whatever state I'm in, I've learned to be content. But just because I'm content doesn't mean that I'm comfortable. See, Job's biggest sin was that he was at ease. See, Job was a man after God's own heart, but his biggest sin was that he was at ease. He got comfortable. So you can't get comfortable in your comfort zone and think that everything around you is going to stay just as it is. Because that's when the devil is going to start sending people around you to speak death into your existence. So I don't know who needs to hear this on tonight. Wherever you are in your walk in life, just know that it's okay not to be okay. This is not the year of the great pretender. This is not the year of the great pretender. You cannot continue to pretend like everything is going well when it's not. You have human emotions. You have human feelings. You have human reactions. You have human actions. It's okay not to be okay. It's okay to cry. It's okay to break down every now and again. It's okay to not be superhuman as they speak. Ladies, it's okay not to be superwoman all the time. Because just because you find yourself continuing to keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going, at some point you have to acknowledge what's going on within you. You have to recognize that Superwoman can't continue to wear the cape all the time, because I know you think that no, if you stop moving, that everything will crumble around you. That's not true. Sometimes God will force you to sit down somewhere. You either going to do it by choice or you're going to do it by force. You can't keep going the same way and not acknowledge what's going on around you, because people will make you see that everything that you thought was real ain't. Yeah, I said ain't. I said ain't. I know we got a lot of educated folks, but I said ain't.
Ain't in
Uh
the Bible. You can say it
no,
in a dictionary.
so my thing is you have to understand is that you have to acknowledge everything that's going on around you. Look at the people that you attach yourself to. They're either going to be vision casters or they're going to become vision killers. They're either going to cast your vision and share your vision with others, or they're going to kill your vision and have other people to join with them in killing your vision. Watch those that you try to take on to the next level with you. Is what I call the snakes on a plane mentality. You cannot take a snake to a higher level because they cannot survive a higher elevation. Snakes will eventually fall off, but you have to start acknowledging who those snakes really are around you. I know some people say I don't have snakes around me. Yeah, you got snakes around you too. But yet we all have to start really looking at it. Where do you stand in life? Where do you stand in life? Where do people stand around you? Are they holding you up? Are they uplifting you? Or are they criticizing you behind your back? Because we all say we got those five friends. We got those five friends. You got your fave five. But when you start telling them about testimony, about how good God has been to you and how good God has blessed you, there's always going to be that one person who's not smiling. I know somebody needed to hear that. You're going to give your testimony to somebody. You're going to give your testimony to somebody, to whoever you got around you that know that you call your homies, your aces, your friends, and you think they're going to be happy for you, but it's always going to be that one person who's not smiling in the midst of your testimony. That, my brothers and sisters, is what we call a silent snake. Sometimes we have enemies in our camp. Just because there's snow, just because they're in your cabin does not mean that they're in your corner.
Mm.
It's time to live life with more purpose. It's time to live life in a different light. You have to cast light to your vision. You have to cast light to your vision. Shine the light on your vision. Show the people that you refuse to stop, even though the world around you wants you to stop. I'm speaking to myself because this is where I am right now. This is where I am. I have to speak life unto myself, because people are not always going to accept where you are, who you are, how you are. People are not going to accept your happiness. Because if they see that you're upset and that you're depressed, people thrive on that alone.
Misery loves company.
If you think everybody is happy for you,
They not.
you're sadly mistaken. Take a moment. Think about that last time that you were in that deep, dark place in your mind and ask yourself, how did I make it out of it? Because you know for yourself that you should have been dead and gone because you had suicidal ideations. How did you make it out of it? What helped you to make it out of it? That there, ladies and gentlemen, is the real thought. When you find yourself down and out and you're depressed and people are hating on you and you find yourself crying, ask yourself, how did I make it out of that moment? How did I make it out of that time? Because you know for yourself that you didn't even want to live past that moment. And it didn't take the loss of a loved one. But we have to get ready to wrap this thing up. But I wanted to just say thank you all for allowing us to share these thoughts with you on tonight. So how we cope as a family, we pray together as a family. We go to church together as a family. And we love as a family. But at the end of the day, we all got to make it through. So we're going to sign off from here from Podcastin with Colossal. And we did some podcasting on tonight. But man, we look forward to seeing y'all next week. So man, y'all take care of each other. Pray for each other. And help each other make it through this dark, deep, dismal place in your life. And smile through it and laugh through it. And know that God will get you through it. Until next week, signing off from Podcastin from Colossal, I'm Garrick. Holla at y'all later. Peace.